So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the second meeting regarding the referee rules. This is a follow-up meeting from the Zoom webinar in January. In our first webinar, Mr. Peter Schmidt from the Netherlands explained the way in which we form and we train referees and what the purpose of a referee is in a tournament. And today I'm going to go into more technical things, more pragmatical things, actually. Things of interest to the beginner referees more than the others, but information that everybody should actually possess. So the first issue that we're going to touch on today is the examination of the referees. So basically how somebody can progress in his or her career as a referee from the level of Continental B or Continental C to the level of World A, our top level referee. The procedure at this point has been updated, and it reflects, on the one hand, the possibility of people who have more free time, more opportunity to train, to practice, to compete, to move a bit faster than the others. And on the other hand, to provide a framework, a minimum term that everyone should wait between licenses, and clear and precise requirements. What should I do in order to progress from one license to the other? Very important for the beginner referees to know what would be my path from my starting point as Continental B or C to the category of World A referee. At this point, the referees who come to their first international referee course can get the C license or the B license, depending on their results. So they follow the same course. There is no separate course for Continental C. I'm sorry? You can, of course, interrupt me at any time if you have questions, and I will ask Peter to monitor the chat. If there are questions in the chat, then please feel free to interrupt me. So coming back, the first course and the first exam that the beginner referee takes is the exam for the Continental B or Continental C license. The target is Continental B. The requirements to obtain the Continental B license are that you pass your theoretical test with 75% minimum, and then you pass your practical test with a minimum of 70%. If the candidate does not reach this level of Continental B, a new level of license was created in the recent years, namely the Continental C, where the JJIF recognizes that this is a level of knowledge and expertise higher than the national level, but not yet quite high enough for the Continental B license. Because this Continental C license is an intermediate license, you will notice that it is quite easy to go from Continental C to Continental B. The candidate has enough knowledge, he just needs a little bit more experience. So the requirements, the minimum requirements from progressing from Continental C to Continental B would be to attend minimum 3 tournaments, and the minimum waiting period is 6 months. So if a candidate comes to a Continental referee course, does not manage to get Continental B, but gets the Continental C license, he has the time within minimum 6 months to attend tournaments in his capacity as Continental C, to improve his skills, to improve his knowledge, and after 6 months, he or she already has the opportunity to take the next exam. The Continental A license is the only license for which there is no exam. Continental B referee will be automatically awarded the Continental A license if he refereed in at least 5 international competitions since the last promotion, and the yearly average performance is evaluated at 75% or higher. What we mean here? We mean that we look at the tournaments that the referee has attended in the last 12 months and make there an average of the scores. We don't want to say that you can wait 5 years and have one tournament per year and you manage your 5 international competitions. But the idea is that you have to be active and you have to be evaluated at 70% or higher in the last 12 months of this period. If you are a Continental A and you want to go for a World B license, you need to referee at least 10 tournaments, international tournaments, since the last promotion. And out of these 10 tournaments, 6 tournaments have to be at a minimum level of Grand Prix. They have to be World Championships, Continental Championships, or at least Grand Prix. The performance, the average performance at these tournaments has to be at 80% for World B. In order to obtain the World A license, you have again the same requirement of 10 tournaments, but now the average score on the last 12 months has to be 85%. So you notice that with every new license, the level of knowledge, the level of expertise increases. By 5%, that's not a lot, but it requires that the World A referees will have almost perfect knowledge and very good practical skills. The world license, the candidate can apply for it by himself or herself, or the head referee of a discipline can say, okay, I see this referee has been in enough tournaments. I see that the scores are always very good. I think that he should be promoted. And the head referee or the technical commission can make also this recommendation that a specific candidate goes for the next license. Are there questions about this? How a person progresses from the license of Continental B or C towards the World A license? Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. I see a question in the chat. I don't know if everybody noticed that. One of the requirements, one of the ideas is that the theoretical and the practical exams for the Continental licenses may be taken at different events within 1 year. Why is that? Because sometimes a Continental referee course is organized, but then for one or other reason, the level of the tournament is not at the necessary level to have a practical examination. So the candidate can take a theoretical test, pass the theoretical test, and then he or she has the period of 12 months to go to a proper level tournament to take the practical examination. If the practical examination is also successful, then the candidate will receive the diploma of Continental C or Continental B license, depending on the case.
Okay, then I understand it. It's because it was my question. It's because they may be taken at different events, but it's mean if it's not a big enough event, you can make it in 2 parts.
Yes.
Okay.
It was, for instance, the example of last year when a referee course was organized together with a training camp, but there was no regional level event to take the practical exam as well. And then they split up that the theoretical could be taken there, or for the discipline of Ju-Jitsu, sometimes the theoretical part can be taken online. Their tests are online. And then you can go within 12 months to do the practical test and to get your license at a proper event. Whenever we speak here about international events, we speak about international events in the JGIF ranking list. So tournaments that are at least at the level of regional JGIF tournament. And for the world licenses, we speak only of tournaments from the level of Grand Prix up. The level of tournament is also important. Any other questions? If not, I will go further. About the competence and responsibilities of the referees, Peter talked to you the other week in the other seminar, how our highest priority is to ensure the safety of the competitors, and Peter taught you how you're supposed to move on the mat, how you're supposed to bring peace and quiet to the mat, to not agitate the athletes and so on. So I will not insist on this anymore. I will go to section 3 of the rules, which refer to the selection of the referees for tournaments. This has been an important point in the last years for all the referees, and many of them have asked the technical commission to provide a list of criteria that make it clear for a referee, what do I need to do in order to assure that I will be selected for a world or continental championship. The technical commission made this list of criteria, but before going through them, I would like to emphasize again the philosophy that is behind the selection of referees for a tournament. Yes, it is very important that the best referees participate in a world or a continental championship. But equally important, it is that the referee team is a team. That people with 20 years experience come together with people with 10-year experience and with people with 2 years experience. That we ensure that different levels of competence, the different cultural backgrounds, the different ways of doing things come together in order for us to be able to create a unitary manner of refereeing. One of the problems that can appear in refereeing different events is that the manner of judging a particular situation is not always the same. And this is the purpose of the technical commission and the purpose of the JGIF, to provide tools that will allow the referees to judge in the same way all over the world. In order to judge in the same way, the people need to come together. It's important that the referee team is truly a team, that we learn from each other, that we help each other, that we use the same skills, that we use the same instruments, and that we learn how particular situations should be evaluated and should be scored and should be handled. So part of this selection process is also this assurance that everybody gets a chance, so that everybody with a high enough level of competence will get a chance to participate in a number of international events in any given year. And also that we provide a good mix of ages, of genders, of countries, of experiences, that we have a team of referees as diverse as possible, because our strength comes from using this diversity to create a common line. So this was the philosophy behind the way that we try to select referees for tournaments from now on. The idea is that the head referees of the events will make a list of qualified referees. On the long list are all the referees who applied to participate in the respective tournament, who have the license level necessary. This short list is selecting from all these people who want to attend, the ones who have the minimum score necessary for a particular tournament. Our main focus is quality, so we will never select a referee who has not scored high enough based on other criteria. So our first criterion is always quality. The athletes, the coaches, the public have a right to be refereed correctly. We have to ensure that the right winner leaves the mat. So our first criterion is quality. Once we have a pool of people who fulfill these quality requirements, then we start applying the following criteria. The first criterion is that the referees can attend the entire event. This may sound like a very common sense requirement. Yes, you need to be there from the beginning to the end. but it was necessary to put it on paper like this because many of us have jobs, have other responsibilities. And sometimes it happens that on the last day of the tournament, if it's a Sunday afternoon, many of the referees would like to return home so they can be Monday morning at their jobs. And then we thought, okay, but what happens to the tournament on Sunday afternoon? Because if you have a number of 3, 4, 5 people who leave, you have to shut down a tatami because of absence of referees. So this became the first criteria. First of all, everybody has to be there for the entire event. Then the second one, in order to ensure an equal representation of countries and continents, the rule was made that per tatami, one referee per country can be selected. So if we have, let's say, an Pan American Championship with 3 tatamis, I will only select 3 referees from Colombia, 3 from Mexico, and so on, even if I have 6 referees from Mexico that fulfill the quality requirements. Because, you know, referees cannot or should not referee athletes from their own countries. And then if I have too many from one country, and then I have athletes from the same country at that tatami, then I have good referees that I cannot use. And that is why the criterion was made, maximum 1 referee per federation per tatami. The third criterion is that we look at the refereeing scores for the past 12 months. Why is this the third criterion? This will be used to distinguish between the many referees from one country. How do I choose the 3 that I take? And also because we want to have a mix, not only to choose the people who scored more than 90% in the past 12 months, but also the people who are almost at the next level, who are almost there, and who need some more practice and some more working together with the very good referees to be able to learn from them. No, we will never take somebody who has 60%. But in a continental championship, you will have referees with 95%, you will have referees with 85%, and you will have a couple of referees with 75% in order to help them to achieve their potential, to grow, to learn, that in the next tournament, they will score closer to the 80%. The fourth criterion is the equal gender representation. As you know, equal gender representation is a requirement of IOC, is a requirement of the International World Games Association. All the multi-sport events have as requirement an equal number of male and female athletes. And it's only normal that we as a referee team also try to provide some sort of balance between the genders of the referees. Again, gender will never take priority above quality, but once I looked at quality, I will also make a selection based on the gender of the referees. The next criterion, which applies only to the World Championships, is an equal representation of the continents. If after the first 4 criteria, I have too many referees that fulfill the requirements and I still have to shorten that list, I will look also from which continent are these referees coming. And we will try to select also depending on the equal representation of the continents. The next criterion being the equal representation of federations, of national organizations, which applies also to the continental championships. There we do not speak about continental representation, but about national representation. Criterion 7, the license level, it's written here, the highest have priority. Yes and no, here there is a nuance that we need to make. Yes, for the World Championships, the world licenses have priority. But for the continental championships, the continental licenses have priority. This doesn't mean that I will only select continental referees for the continental championships, but if I have 20 referees with the same score, 10 of which are world referees, 10 of which are continental referees, I will not select the 10 world and 2 continentals, but we will try to make a mix in which the continental referees will be more numerous at the continental tournament, because they do not have a chance to be in such high number at the world championship level. And this brings us to the last criterion, the equal opportunity. A very good referee with a good license and with a good score who is available for all tournaments of the year will not be selected everywhere. It doesn't mean that he performed or she performed badly at the last tournament. It only means that everyone should have a chance. Everyone who is good enough should have a chance to be selected. I know that in Europe at the continental level, the referee team is looking and trying to make a puzzle. The referees who go to the adult championship will not be selected for the youth championship, and the other way around, or the other ones will have priority. And we think it's a good idea that that we try to give this equal opportunity to everyone who fulfills the quality requirement. For the regional events, where the focus is on the education of referees, where we try to encourage the beginning referees to come and learn and progress, there the criterion are a bit looser. Also because the requirements of the sporting code are also more flexible. So at the regional ranking events, only 50% of the referees have to have an international license. And then it is easier to make a selection, and it is easier to invite and to accept referees who still need a bit of training, a bit of guidance, a bit of advice. Questions about this, about the selection process? Comments, ideas?
Very clear.
Dana, it's Camilla. I have a question regarding this going for the youth, but not for the adult, or the opposite. It might be difficult for people then, for the referees, to ask for being a referee, because if they think that they will go for the adult and they will be selected, then they have no opportunity to go to the youth later in the year. But if they then say, no, I will not go for the adult because I would rather go for the youth later this year, but not be selected. So
there's no guarantee. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. And last year, I think the Technical Commission had an initiative to create a calendar in which the international licensed referees should give their availability throughout the year. Because if the Technical Commission knows for which 7 tournaments Camila is available, then they can say, okay, we select Camila for these 4 out of 7. Because if we don't have a planning, indeed, you run this risk.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I cannot take Camila for 7 out of 7.
Sure.
The whole idea is to try to bring as many qualified people as possible on the tournaments.
Okay, so I will tell my referees that they should go for both youth and adult, and then they will see.
Absolutely. So I would recommend, if you are available, register yourself for everything that you are available for.
But sometimes it's you can register for youth, and then that one will close before the other one opens.
Yes, it's true. But for instance, as it is this year, So we have the youth in April. The registration is finished, the selection is finished. So at this point, you know if you've been selected for the youth or not.
Yeah.
So you can apply for the adults. Again, depending on the federation and depending on the relations there, the federation or the referees of a particular federation can talk to each other. Okay, we are in Romania, 7 good referees. There are only 4 tournaments. Who goes where?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are tournaments where yeah, if I register for all the events, the chance is that I will be selected for more tournaments than a Continental B who just got his or her license now. And then my aim is also a bit of empathy from the experienced, high-ranked, high-scored referees to think also a little bit, okay, I've been this year to 4 tournaments, Continentals, Worlds, whatever. Do I really need to register for the last one as well? Or can I take a step back and give somebody else also this opportunity?
That's what I mean. That the newer referees who's coming from a country should have the chance to go to these both the youth and the adults if there's not that many referees in a country. But
yes,
it will not be. But it will not be possible.
The equal opportunity is only criteria number 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Criteria number 2 is 1 referee per country per tatami.
I understand. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, because if the country didn't have so many referee and we want so diversity also from the country,
you will be selected if you're good enough.
Yeah, exactly. So if the tournament have 6 tatamis or 5 tatamis, we need more referee from each country, maybe.
Yeah. The problem, let's say, that I see at this point are tournaments like the European Adult Championship of last year when you work on 3 tatamis. You have 1 tatami of Newaza. You need 6 referees. How do you choose them? And that's why we try to create a list of criteria that you can look and say, okay, can I stay the whole event? Yes. Are we more than 1 referee per country per tatami? No. What is my score in the past 12 months? Oh, I scored a 75. I can stop there. I'm not going to be selected. I scored an 83. I have a good chance. I go further. I'm a girl. That's good for me. I'm a boy. I have to think about it. I go to the next criterion and so on. So this is how each individual referee can evaluate his chance and can decide, I will register for this tournament and not for the other one. Any other questions or comments or ideas? If not, I will go a bit further. These were actually the 2 main points that we wanted to present today. The rest of the sections are about the referee uniform and accessories, and this Peter already explained the other time. We should encourage the new referees to truly follow the requirements, especially in the type of clothes. Yes, we talk about black pants, but we now specify, we talk about a black suit pants. So no black jeans, no stretchy materials of one sort or another. The idea is to have formal clothes that look as much as possible like everybody else. In time, we hope that at the level of the International Federation, we will be able to have an actual uniform. I know that there are already world championships or there are continental unions who provide shirts for the referees. Of course, it's much easier to provide shirts for everyone than it will be to provide pants for everyone. Because a shirt can be a bit looser, can be a bit tighter, you can fix it in some way, but a pair of pants needs to be really fitted, really the proper size and so on. But we are still hoping that maybe in the future we are moving in the direction of providing clothes for the referees, or finding a supplier that is universal enough that the people can order from that one supplier, that everybody will have the same sort of uniform. Questions about that?
Hello together. Is there no plan that the JJU or the JJIF will give to the high-ranking referees this new collection of shirts and trousers? So they have to pay this by their own?
If that is a question, I do not have an answer to it. I know that at the level of the European Union has provided shirts for the referees in the past 2 years. I know that some organizers, such as the Federation of Mongolia for the World Championship of last year, provided some equipment for the referees. But at this point, we are about 200 referees, I think. It's not sustainable that they will provide 3 shirts and a pair of pants and socks and for all of us. Unless we find a very generous, nice sponsor.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions?
Or yes, another question.
Yeah.
Then it is important that we have when we have official suits and shirts and trousers and socks. Is it important that all the referees wear this by the competition or at the competitions, or they only must wear black socks and trousers by their own collection?
If there is a uniform, if there are things provided, then you should wear them. Of course, you sometimes go for a tournament of 3 days and you get 1 shirt. Yeah, we're going to change shirts every day. Me personally, I would say tomorrow we wear the shirts that the organizers provided, that at least one day we all look the same. But it's very, very difficult. It's difficult to finance this, and it's difficult also to get shirts in the proper sizes of the people. Also because large means something in Colombia, something else in France, something else in Kazakhstan. You make an order, and when the product arrives, it doesn't fit you.
Yes, I know, but this is the question. Also, we didn't know the exact sizes when we have to sell this by a company who now decide or offers us the new uniform. We didn't know the sizes exactly too.
Yeah. And as I was saying, okay, with shirts you can fix it in some way, but with pants you cannot fix it.
Dana?
So that
Dana?
Yeah.
There was I had a tournament in South Korea, and the people that did the referee material that we got there, they asked about the neck. How much is this?
Yeah.
The breast, right? And if you do this to that sponsor, then there's no problem. Then you all have the good sizes.
Yeah, you need to be specific, yes.
That's all. And then it will be every referee will be dressed like a perfect.
Yeah. It's true. I don't know how this should be approached. Maybe we should make a proposal to the technical commission. The technical commission can make maybe a proposal to the JJIF to provide some sort of budget. because we are trying to become more professional. We are trying to become one body. And it's very important that we all look the same, that we all look the same, that we all act the same, that we all do the same. And of course, clothes from the same supplier, a uniform, an actual uniform would help this unity.
I understand this. Perfect, yes, but it is not so easy to say for some referees from some countries that they have to pay for the referee uniforms by themselves. So they have not enough money for that, maybe.
I know.
So the
I know, but this is above our pay grade. We can only complain about it.
It's not so. It is not a problem for me in the moment. So it's not that we have a misunderstanding here, but we have
No,
some
I know.
countries they cannot pay 200 or 300 euros for a referee uniform.
Yeah,
But
it's true. And to some extent, they shouldn't have to.
it's a good idea if we can be helping to pay, but in the same way, the competitors have also to pay their own gi. So it's a part. It's a part of to be a referee, to have the right clothes to be a referee, I think. But it will be very nice if we can have it and something, of course.
I would be happy at this point, even with the co-financing, as long as the JJIF will say, okay, we make 500 shirts and you need to pay, I don't know, that much amount of money as part of the cost of a shirt, I would be happy with that. But at this point, we don't have even that. Sorry. If there are no more questions about the referee uniform, we go towards the last part, and that would be the section around the governing bodies. Not everybody of the referee group is aware of how referees are organized, what is the technical commission, what is the sports director, what is the GGIF sporting code, how do things connect with each other. And that's why this section was added to the refereeing rules, that in one page, we get an idea of what the technical commission does, what the sporting code is responsible for, and where should the referee go to read about being a referee. And for the rest, we have the annexes. I don't know to which extent they are interesting for everyone. We have the evaluation forms. If I can make this a bit bigger, but this, I think, Peter, you showed it last week and you explained it last week, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's not necessary to go through it again. Any other questions regarding these referee rules? Are they clear to everyone? Are they acceptable for everyone? Would it be a good idea if we implement them?
Yeah, just to say thank you for all the information and it's all be clear. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
So for me, some of the things are very clear and are very helpful for the future. So that all of the referees know what they have to do or what they can do to grade up their licenses. So we will see. But my last questions, about the money for some of the referees to buy the exact uniforms by themselves, maybe it can be a problem.
It is a problem for some of us, definitely. I know also that steps are being taken that the referees will get a bit of a better daily allowance for their work. So maybe if we get a bit more money for the work that we perform, we can use that extra money to buy an extra shirt, for instance.
Yes. Or the JJU or JJF said, when you will stay there for refereeing for 1 day, you will get 200 euros per day. Then it's easy to buy the new uniforms too. Maybe. I think so.
It
Or for the
is.
other ones.
I have personal reservations for amounts of money that are too big for the expectations that you create if you pay me in 4 days what I earn in a month. I think it's dangerous, me personally.
Yeah.
But that's a different subject than the one of the refereeing rules.
Yes, of course. But it can be it can be helpful for some of the referees when they not have enough money for the uniform or the other one or the other things. You have said also before, some of the referees must take a lot of holidays to come to the competitions, and also when they cannot work or they spend their holidays for that, it's not so easy.
It's not so easy, and you lose money, or you pay with your free time, you pay with time away from your family. There's always a cost
of course,
attached.
Yes. But for me, it's more important, not for me or for the other guys who not have enough money for the normal life. And they spend also a lot of money, or they must spend a lot of money for refereeing.
So the day allowance, the day allowance should be somewhere between the 50 euro that we get now and the 200 that you mentioned.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I will stop the recording then.